guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm doing something a little bit different. Today's video is all about shelf cooking. So I have been trying to use up what is in our freezer, our pantry, our fridge. I have just been trying to lower our grocery budget and actually make sure I'm using things up that we already have on hand. Plus, we are going to be getting a Costco membership soon, so I'm just making sure that everything is used up and I'm trying to empty things out before getting a bunch more food. So that is what you will see in today's video. I'm not going to say that these meals are perfectly nutritious, but these are things that I'm just trying to use up and make meals out of them. So I hope this inspires you to do the same. Use up what you already have in your fridge and your pantry. Help lower your grocery budget, and let's go ahead and get into all of these dinner recipes. For this first dinner, I'm making a cornbread taco bake, and this was something I've never made before, but I had this cornbread mix in my cupboard, so I'm just mixing this up according to the directions on the back of the box. Use whatever cornbread that you want. This is the Cresto brand, I think is what it's called. You can use Jiffy too, or whatever you have, but I'm just mixing that up, and then I baked this in the oven for I think it was about 20 minutes. I just baked it according to the back of the package again. While the cornbread is baking in the oven, you can go ahead and get your beef mixture ready or your inside taco part. You can use ground turkey if you want, but I typically will use ground beef in our house. I do like to add some onion in there. This is just one small yellow onion that I had chopped up, and I'm just gonna brown all of this together, and then I'm adding in my taco seasoning. I always make mine from scratch, and I added about 2 tablespoons in there, which is the equivalent of 1 packet of taco seasoning. And then I'm also adding in a can of corn, along with a little bit of this mild salsa. I would say probably added close to a cup of it, but you don't have to add that much if you don't want to. You just want enough to kind of keep it nice and moist. And then I'm giving that a quick mix together, and then I'm just going to add it right on top of my cornbread. Just make sure your cornbread is fully done cooking, just so you don't end up with soggy cornbread. And then I just quick spread this out, sprinkled a little bit of cheese on top, and I think I baked this in the oven for I want to say it was about 20 minutes. My husband really liked this one. I will say the cornbread added just like a little bit of sweetness to it. It also is going to depend on what type of cornbread you use, but it was a really good dish. I just paired it with actually some cucumbers and strawberries on this night because it's what we had to use up in the fridge, and it was a really delicious dinner. On this next night, we got home super late and I just need to throw something together really quick. I had some of this chicken to use up. I had bought it like months ago and it was still in my freezer. I had about half a bag left, and I also had some of these broccoli florets in there, and this was so easy. I just threw it all into a pan with a little drizzle of olive oil, and then I just heated it up over medium heat. It probably took about like 10 minutes or so, and then I just added in 1 jar of this Alfredo sauce. I had it in my pantry to use up, and I just threw it in there. I did add a little bit of water just to get the last little bit out of the jar. Give it a quick stir. I think I did add some like pepper in there. I think I might have added some garlic powder. And then I just really let this heat up. In my other pan here, I just have some of this veggie spaghetti, which is one of our favorites. I'm just cooking that to al dente, adding a little bit of salt into the water. And then once it was done, I just drained it and added it right into the sauce mixture. I typically like to make my Alfredo sauces from scratch, but this was just so easy on this night. To make it a little bit tastier, I added just a splash of milk just to thin it out, and then I also added in some shredded mozzarella cheese, let it all melt together, and then that's when I added my pasta in there. And it was a really delicious dinner. Sometimes you just need something really quick and easy, and this pre-cooked chicken definitely made things really nice and easy for me on this night. And it was actually a really delicious dinner. My kids loved it. It's something I would make again, and it was just very simple to pull together for a busy weeknight when we were getting home late. So if you have any favorite recipes like that you can just pull together super fast, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. On this next night, I am making cheesy ranch chicken sandwiches. This is something I've made many times, one of our favorites. As you can see here, this is when I was still pregnant. I forgot to upload this recipe, so I'm sharing it now. So into my crock pot, I just used my smaller one, and I'm adding in 4 chicken breasts. I sprayed my crock pot, and then I'm just adding a package of ranch seasoning mix and a block of cream cheese. It literally could not be any easier. I cooked this on high for about 4 hours. Once it's done, I use my hand mixer to shred up this chicken, and it shreds absolutely beautifully. It's perfectly creamy from the cream cheese, and it's just delicious. I do like to add some shredded cheese in there. My favorite is cheddar, but I was using Fiesta blend on this night just because that's what I had on hand to use up. But you guys, this is a really good one. I'm not saying it's perfectly healthy, but it's a really, really quick and easy dinner that our whole family really loves. This also is really good on like salads or in wraps. It's very versatile, but it's absolutely delicious. On this next night, I just needed something very quick again because I had not pulled anything out of the freezer in advance, but I found that I had some chili in there that I had frozen, so I just quick threw it in my microwave to thaw it out. And then into my pot here, I just added a box of shell pasta with some salt, boiled that up and drained it. And then right on top of the noodles, I'm just adding the chili in there. I just thawed it out of my microwave, really, really quick and easy. Then I'm adding that in there. We are just having some chili mac pasta on this night. Of course, if you don't have chili in your freezer, you can make it from scratch, which would be a little bit more work, or you can use canned chili if you just want something really quick and easy. I did decide to add in a little bit of salsa just because I wanted it to be a little bit more salty, and I also wanted it to be just a tiny bit spicier. I did add just a little bit of seasoning. I just added some garlic powder and some salt and pepper and a little bit of cheese in there, and it was a really quick and easy dinner. My daughter actually really liked this. She loves beans, so the combination of the beans in with her pasta, she was very happy about. She loves her beans, so this is a really quick and easy one again. If you just need something very fast like I did on this night, this would be a perfect dinner for you. So for dinner on this night, I was trying to use up some hash brown potatoes that we had in the freezer. I had originally bought them to do a Cracker Barrel casserole. So I'm trying to make that into a meal here. So I'm gonna add some chicken into it, and it's really, really yummy. So here I'm just starting off with cutting up an onion. This is a purple onion. I would typically use yellow, but of course I'm trying to use up everything in the pantry right now. So that is what I'm using this time. And then I'm just throwing that into a microwave safe bowl with a little bit of water in there. And then I'm just softening these up in the microwave. If you've never done this, it's just a little hack. If you don't want to actually saute them on your stove, make it quick and easy. Just throw it into the microwave for like a minute and a half, and they'll be nice and soft for when you're adding them into something. And then over into my bowl here, I have a can of cream of mushroom, a can of cream of chicken, as well as a can of rotel tomatoes. And then this is probably about 1.5 pounds of shredded up chicken, along with those onions that I had softened in the microwave. And then for seasonings, I'm just doing a little bit of garlic and some pepper. I did not add any extra salt here just because obviously the cream of mushroom soup is going to be salty enough. Giving that a quick mix together, and then we're going to add in the rest of our stuff. My favorite cheese to add into this is cheddar cheese, but on this night I had some Fiesta blend to use up, so of course I was just going to use that and not open a new bag of cheese. So I'm getting that mixed in there, and then I'm adding in my hash browns. I believe this was around like 20 some ounces of hash browns, and then I added in about a stick of melted butter, mixing those in there. You really just want to add potatoes until you get the consistency that you want, but I'm just giving that a quick mix together, and then I'm going to add that into my baking dish. So for this recipe, I would typically recommend like a 9x13 unless you decide to add more potatoes in there. Make sure you spray your pan so you don't end up with stuck on potatoes. And then I'm just throwing this in there. I ended up baking this at 375 for about, I think it was about 45 minutes. Just watch it, and you can add more cheese on top, and it is absolutely delicious. Now again, not saying this is healthy, but this was a really yummy shelf cooking type meal. We used up lots of things and didn't let anything go to waste. I would recommend covering it with aluminum foil so your potatoes don't get dried out during the cooking process, but this one was absolutely delicious. Let me know if you give it a try. For this next dinner, this is going to be a chicken Parmesan bake. It's something I had never made before, but it's kind of a spin on my baked ziti that I normally make, but it's with chicken. So I just added a drizzle of olive oil into my pan with a large onion. I'm sauteing this together until the onions get nice and soft. Once that has started cooking a little bit, I am just adding in some garlic for the last couple minutes of the cooking time, mixing that in there, and then we're going to add in our sauce. And then for the pasta sauce, I'm just using this garlic and herb one. It's not my favorite pasta sauce, but it was a great one to use up in this dish because I feel like the flavor wasn't as important as other dishes. And then I'm just adding in some chicken. This was just 2 pre-cooked chicken breasts that I already had cooked. They were shredded up in my freezer, so I just took a couple minutes to thaw them out in the microwave. Really simple. And then also for the sauce, I'm adding in a can of these Italian style petite diced tomatoes. I love to add these into sauces. It's just really easy. And then I'm just seasoning this up. I think I added in some oregano and basil, salt and pepper, keeping it fairly basic, but it definitely adds a lot of flavor when you do that. And then I'm just heating this up. I let this sauce simmer for probably about 10 minutes just to help develop a little bit of the flavor. And then into my other pot here, I'm just adding in some penne pasta. You could also use ziti pasta if you want to for this one, but I'm just cooking those noodles up until they are al dente. Do make sure to salt your water. It will add a lot of extra flavor. And then to those noodles, I'm adding in a jar of Alfredo sauce. This is similar to my baked ziti that I like to make with beef. That's what I would typically do, is add in some Alfredo sauce into the noodles. And then into my 9x13 baking dish, I'm just spraying that so my noodles don't stick. And then I'm just gonna layer everything together in this baking dish. So I'm taking about half of the noodles, spreading it out, and then I'm spooning on a bunch of this pasta sauce mixture with the chicken in it. And then I'm gonna sprinkle on top of that a bunch of mozzarella shredded cheese. Super delicious. Think of it like a lasagna. You're just gonna layer everything together, and you're gonna repeat this process 2 times. I put this into a 375-degree oven for about 30 minutes, just until all of the cheese was melted, everything was heated through. You can pop it under the broiler for a few minutes at the end just to give it a nice little browning on top, but this was really delicious, served with just a little salad on the side, and a very simple dinner to make. Alright you guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you enjoyed this shelf cooking video. If you did, make sure you let me know down in the comments if you want to see more of these, as I'm using up more ingredients and just different things and coming up with different meal recipes that aren't necessarily like a traditional recipe, but will maybe inspire you to use up what is in your own pantry. So let me know if you enjoyed today's type of video, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!